Yo, what's up, Bonehawk? Shujinkydink here. Welcome to a video all about Baraka. So now that Mortal Kombat 11 is pretty much nail in the coffin kind of thing, Combat League is done, or we don't know if there's going to be another Combat League, I just thought I'd put out my Baraka matchup chart, how he does against all the characters. So we see at the top here we have 3-7, which means quite a large advantage for his opponent. 4-6 is slight advantage for his opponent. 5-5 means it's even, and 6-4 means Baraka has a slight advantage. This is, of course, based off of 10 games, saying that, you know, if we played 10 games, you know, I would 5, you would 5, it's pretty even, that kind of thing. So we're just going to start from left to right here with Jade. Jade definitely has a slight advantage over Baraka. Zoning, kind of counter zones him, better movement, really challenges the neutral. Although I would personally like to say it is a 3-7. I think a lot of that is just me and my frustration with that character, and I don't think the matchup's actually that bad, so that's where I'd put Jade. Next is Erron Black, probably in the same kind of scenario. I can already hear Loot typing away in the comments there. Back 2-2-2, Scud Shot, there's just the spacing it leaves Baraka at is quite oppressive, and in Erron Black's interest for sure. Baraka does hit hard and can, you know, get that comeback, especially if he gets to the corner. But I think that Erron Black's just main tools make it just kind of a little bit more difficult for Baraka to play the game. Cabal, I actually have as about 5-5, which is interesting because, you know, his air gas blast shenanigans. But Spine Burst works actually really well to counter a lot of those. And then if you counter that with the Blade Charge, you know, you can actually get full combos and stuff out of it. It's at most ranges. It's pretty cool. I should mention before I go any further here that this isn't like a certain set variation for each character. It's just what variation is the hardest against Baraka that I've experienced so far. So, you know, there could be Cabals that have 2 really bad moves that might make it a 6-4, but I'm kind of just judging on if you were in tournament, what variation would you pick against Baraka? So that's kind of my mentality on that. Spawn is actually a little bit difficult for Baraka. The 3-4 string makes it really hard for him to kind of get close and covers a lot of the range he kind of wants to cover. And his projectile's not bad, however, Baraka can down 4 underneath the second hit of it. Which is quite useful in that matchup. It actually is a little bit more useful up close if Spawn's kind of doing that pressure up close, because then you get a little bit of a punish and a frame advantage and you can get your turn back. So just a little something that I thought I'd throw in there. Fujin again, 4-6. We're seeing a bit of a pattern here with Baraka. It doesn't blow him out of the water or anything, but you know, I think it's his back 1 string, back 2 string, just always puts him just way out of Baraka's range. Baraka really has to chase him down, get him in some sort of weird scenario, and kind of hit him quite hard to stay in the game. So Shiva, I actually am a little bit on the fence on, but since the recent kind of changes, I think Baraka beats Shiva. I think he just hits harder than Shiva. Shiva's mix-ups are quite unsafe, and of course Baraka punishes quite hard with Gutted, and then you always have to be aware of Blade Charge in that kind of scenario. So I think that that's probably one of his 2 winning matchups in the game. RoboCop, I think, is a 5-5. Although RoboCop is meant to be like a hard zoner, and he does that very well against Baraka, I think he doesn't really have too much up close, and he can kind of be baited into quite a bit once Baraka kind of gets up close. He's a little slow, and Baraka's a little bit fast but stubby. So I haven't really found too much problems against RoboCop, especially if you're familiar with zoning and getting around it and being just being a good player, you know. Melina is another one that I think Baraka beats. I think these are the only 2 that are actually going to end up in this tier. Melina doesn't really threaten Baraka with much. Her loci can kind of be troublesome, and she can kind of keep him away, but you know, she is unsafe on quite a bit that Baraka again can punish for big damage that outside of maybe a breakaway combo she can't really compete with. So that's my experience so far with Melina. Rain is about a 5-5. His staggers are quite good, being mids, but that being said, that puts him right into kind of where Baraka wants to be, which is right up close. And one thing is, with the Spine Burst, a lot of Rain's shenanigans with that the Hydro Boost or whatever it is don't really work, because Baraka, if timed right, can Spine Burst him out of all the options. So that's kind of a little tip for you guys you'll have to lab it yourself, but if you're ever playing against a Rain, that's something you could use. Rambo is also a 4/6. Now, this is really only with the Claymore. Good lord, is that ever annoying. Baraka does not have a good answer around it. Sometimes he can command grab to jump over it, but he's still in recovery and it's easily readable by Rambo. Back 2 is just too slow, it gets blown up. So once he throws that Claymore down, you're kind of stuck, you can't get close to him. Even in the corner, if Rambo manages to put a Claymore down and pressure, he's out of there. It's toast. It's actually quite a frustrating matchup, so if you're a Rambo player and you're having problems with Baraka, give that a shot. Bet it'll work out. 5/5, not really a whole lot to talk about here. The kind of buzzsaw hat is probably the most annoying thing for Baraka. He can down 4, the regular one. However, the enhanced one where you can kind of move down, he's just kind of got a hold. But the regular one, you can just kind of down 4 underneath it. It's kind of a helpful thing in that matchup. Sub-Zero, 5/5. Sub-Zero lives and dies by the mix. You guess right, punish the crap out of him. You guess wrong, get mixed, bitch. That's the Sub-Zero way, you know. And it's Baraka kind of falls certainly into that category. It's kind of a fun matchup, but you know, Sub-Zero is unsafe in a lot of things that he has to do. Has some good staggers, but so is Baraka. So Scorpion, 5/5. Again, has some really good staggers, but so does Baraka. Kind of puts him in that same position. Scorpion has some decent damage that can sometimes kind of rival Baraka's. So it makes for an interesting matchup for sure. The Joker, I'm a bit on the fence on. I'm going to put it as a 5/5 for now. The nice thing about it is that the Cabal at most ranges can be punished by Blade Charge. Now there is a couple, like I think 2-1 into it is maybe an exception to that rule, but you know, anything else into Cabal, like the Ford 1-4 into it, if they're not looking for it, not just kind of throwing it out, being reckless, not hit confirming, Baraka can Blade Charge punish. Against a good Joker, a little bit different. His spacing is kind of tough, but I find that Baraka, out of all of his moveset, kind of has something that will kind of work. I find that Blade Charge and kind of Gut It are the way to go in that matchup. You get your big damage when you can, and make sure you get your punishes on that Cabal move. Now Cetrion is the only one in this tier up here. Just like if you're a Cetrion and you're consistently losing to Baraka, like maybe try Call of Duty or something, because like this is not for you. This matchup is so hard for young Baraka. Everything that Cetrion does pushes her away, does good chip damage. She can zone him almost harder than any other character. And Baraka's like, finally, I got you to the corner. Yes, let's go. Boom, teleport out and you're running the other way. Extremely frustrating matchup. Probably one of the worst in the games. In this game anyways. Yeah, I usually pick Katana if I run into a Cetrion. Baraka is just, unless I'm really like feeling like some freaking sub shit, I won't play that matchup. Frost is a 5/5. Not really much to talk about. Her range is kind of annoying, but she doesn't really hit super hard, I find. With her little head setup things, I forget what that move's called. That can be annoying, but all in all, I think the matchup is fairly even. Baraka, 5/5. Need I say more? Raiden, this is one of the more interesting matchups, and I say it interesting as like it's pretty fucking lame. Like, I'm a zoner, and I like to have many options on zonings and make some reads, but like Raiden is just like lightning or lightning, you know, straight lightning from the sky, teleport. You get to the corner, teleport, similar to Cetrion. The only thing is like he kind of gives up his turn if you block his pressure correctly. So that's kind of where Baraka shines as opposed to Cetrion, where it's like always her turn. So it's not quite that bad, but it's just super annoying, super duper annoying. Shao Kahn is 5/5. Baraka does a good job of punishing a lot of his stuff, but Shao Kahn does hit like a truck, and is another one that kind of rivals Baraka's damage, as he should. He's the Emperor of Outworld, or at least one of them. Devora, 5/5. Devora a little bit risky. Her range is kind of good. I find that Baraka's standing 1 can anti-air her. I think it's jump 2. I think it has a, I don't know, like a weird hitbox or something where you can, as long as you hit the end of her little ovipositor, you can anti-air her in general. And I find that to be really good and stop kind of her jump around game, you know. Jax, 5-5. Similar game plan as Baraka, but like just hitting a bunch of ridiculous crushing blows. That's one thing that I really like in this game as an idea. But like Jax is an example of them not being super balanced. Just doing like 300 damage at a time. You get hit with 3 crushing blows and you're dead. Whereas Baraka is going more for combo damage and staggers and whatnot. So their game plans are similar, but they just do it a little bit differently. So I think it's fairly even. Geras, same idea. Can be a little bit annoying and like the keep away, but his keep away isn't that great. And then of course when you get in, it's again, he's kind of always giving up his turn, which gives Baraka a chance to get some sort of offense going. Johnny Cage, 5-5 again. Doesn't really hit too hard. Outside of the one like fatal blow cancel combo, he has to kind of hit Baraka like 3 times to make up for Baraka hitting him once. The force balls are effective, but there's a certain, like once you get kind of mid-screen, Baraka's going to duck them. And then Johnny does have some whiffing issues with like I think it's his forward 3, one of the main moves to come in. His mids aren't the greatest for him to come in with, and you kind of have to hard commit to some stuff, which Baraka will definitely punish. That being said, his overall tool set is good, and does give Baraka some problems in some situations. Noob Saibot is a 4-6, definitely outranges Baraka, has some decent damage with the zoning, actually just decent damage overall. Noob Saibot, just his combos actually do a lot of damage, like 35 to 40%, which is a lot for someone who can also zone at the same time. So, of course, that gives Baraka a little bit of trouble. You can never count Baraka out with his damage, though, but, you know, the chances of Noob Saibot's game going the way that he wants them to are more likely than Baraka's. Kollector's 5-5. Both characters kind of do their own thing. Kollector can zone him a little bit with his backpack kind of stuff and the air ones. Damage over time, and then, of course, his command grab is obnoxious. And, of course, Baraka's got the damage, so not much else to say there. 5-5. Shang Tsung is another one who has a slight advantage over Baraka. The upward skulls, it is very execution heavy, but you can flawless block. I believe it's the second upward skull and then blade charge reversal to punish him at some ranges, but that entails like insane reads and like you have to be like expecting them to do it. And given all of Shang Tsung's tools, it's kind of tough to do that. Shang Tsung does have some gaps, like the back 3-4, where Baraka can just straight up anti-air him out of it and get a full combo. So stuff like that is kind of neat up close. He's kind of taking advantage of that kind of thing. Sonya Blade is a 5-5, much like someone else I'm going to talk about here. It's she 50-50s. She either hits you or she doesn't, and then you punish. Or you get hit and you get comboed. It's like a perfectly even matchup with like overhead low versus guess right and reward. So although her zoning can be a little bit troublesome for Baraka, I don't think it would give her that much of an advantage for me to call it a 4-6. I think that a 5-5 is more than suffice, because I do think that the risk reward for Sonya up close isn't quite the same in her favor. You know, it's once you kind of get to know Sonya's mix, it becomes a little bit easier to block. Skarlet, slight advantage here. I'm kind of on the fence on this one. I might call it a 5-5. The thing is, her zoning is really good, but once she gets like, if Baraka ever gets up close, like the damage is just not even close to the same. Like she gets all of her damage from zoning and nothing up close. Whereas Baraka just like, as soon as he gets in, hits like a truck. But Skarlet does have the same thing that Cetrion has and Raiden has, which has that annoying teleport where you finally get her to the corner and then boop, she's gone. Although it isn't as good of a teleport as Cetrion or Raiden, it still is a teleport, and most of the times if a player's smart, it's done at ranges that keep her somewhat safe. So that's why I wouldn't not entertain a 5-5 from Skarlet mains out there. I know that they know a little bit more about matchups with that character, but from my experience, That seems to be kind of where it is. Kotal 5-5, I have this at. One thing is Kotal can hit pretty hard, and so can Baraka. He does kind of have that annoying range that some of the others, like Noob Cybots or Shang have over Baraka. That being said, again, he kind of gives up his turn, which is an advantage for Baraka. That kind of gives Baraka a chance to do something against that range. You know, whether they want to try and cancel into a cheeky unblockable or kind of go forward with the enhanced projectile, which I think is plus. But you got to run out of meter at some time, right? Nightwolf is a 5-5. I think both characters. Nightwolf has a really unique set of tools, especially with that Hannah's Wrath move, which you can also down for underneath. If you're a Baraka player, learn the timing on that. It's kind of cool. But yeah, Nightwolf has some interesting crushing blows. Of course, his command grab, his tick throws, and then of course Baraka always has his damage, a little bit of pressure, depending on what variation. I feel with Nightwolf you can kind of play around with your variations a little bit. You don't have to go like necessarily with like a gutted for big damage. Just because some of his moves and some of his pressure with the extended pokes and stuff kind of move him away. Cassie Cage is a 5-5. Almost calling this a 6-4 for Baraka. Cassie has some interesting keep away, but again, a lot of it is negative if you block it correctly. You can actually, once you get the timing for the flawless blocks down on her low shot, takes away a lot of her advantage, allowing you to move in. She does cover that midsection pretty well, but again, she gives up her turn fairly easily, and then it's Baraka's time to party. So, there's Kotal and Nightwolf on here twice. I just realized that. I don't know why that is. I didn't make this. Terminator 5-5. Same reason as Sonya, except Terminator's a little bit more oppressive with some of his mix because he's got a command grab as well as overhead lows, so it makes it for an interesting layer. But yeah, guess right, you punish. Guess wrong, you eat some damage. A lot of his mix doesn't end up in too much damage unless it's the overhead into Fatal Blow. We've all seen that one. Kano 5-5. Same kind of idea. Kano is a little bit safer with some of his staggers and stuff, which doesn't always give up his turn. But you're kind of playing the guessing game after that 1+ string with the spit, and Baraka having a bigger hitbox. He has to eat that whole string. I think now Katana is the only one that string, maybe Joker as well, that string whiffs on. I might lab that a little bit and see what that's about. That being said, Katana 5-5. Some good keep away, decent damage, but nothing that really keeps her too oppressive over our Tarkatan friend here. So I think it's 5-5. Jacqui, I think, is also 5-5. Surprisingly, a lot of her shenanigans can actually be spine burst out of with her little hop thing. You do kind of have to know a little bit about the timing and what you're doing. If you're trying to zone her out and she tries to jump at you, spine burst also works really well to anti-air her out of that. And if you have blade charge equipped, you can get a full combo from it. So I think once you kind of learn the ins and outs of that combo, Jacqui isn't super scary. Her damage does rival Baraka's, if not kind of beat it out in more common scenarios. But all in all, I think with her gimmicks and spine burst, I think you're good. I think you'll do just fine against Jacqui. Liu Kang 4-6, same kind of idea. The range is annoying. He's got a parry. He can zone. He can just do everything. And Baraka can't do everything. But Liu Kang has also have that annoying range. And again, damage that rivals Baraka's. So put him at 4-6. And finally, Sindel 4-6 as well. I think that her range, the stupid screams, and the damage that she can do is a little overwhelming for our Tarkatan friend. So there you go. How many we got here? We got 1, 3, 7. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in the 4-6. We got 23 in the 5-5 and 2 6-4s. So if I was looking at a tier list right now, given these matchups, I would have Baraka like right in the middle. Or maybe a little bit on the lower side, because it does suck having a character that like all you need to do is pick Cetrion and you can beat him. That's the only gripe I have about this game, is like I hate things like that where like it's so close to being perfectly balanced and then you just have that one character that like if you just pick this character, no, I can't even use Baraka now in a tournament anyways. So what do you think about my matchup chart, guys? Do you play any of these characters? Do you agree, disagree? Leave your comments down below and let's have a conversation. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like because it really helps me out. And subscribe if you haven't because I make new videos almost every single day. #Bonehawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you guys in the next video.